This week we have a special treat for you as we're going to talk about one of the great certificates out there, the Certified Global FP&A program, with two graduates from the program.
Alfredo Kinanga is a finance expert with 14 years of experience in accounting, business planning, and commercial finance.
A certified global FP&A graduate, he excels in sales, marketing, and profitability strategies.
Jihane is a CPA from Canada with 10 years of experience in financial accounting, payroll, and forecasting.
A certified global FP&A graduate, she specializes in data-driven financial planning.
As a financial professional, we tend to be so-critical, especially with the salespeople, with other operations. The spirit of this course was, we are partners, so we have to bridge between the teams and the business teams.
The most important soft skills for FP&A is stakeholder relationship. We need to understand how to relate to other people with different backgrounds and to understand their aspirations, the needs, maybe we don't understand, and work together.
It's really hard to say what's the most important because there's a lot of important. It just shows how many different things we have to be good at. But at the core, we can see we want to thank this week's title sponsor, the FP&A Hub. The FP&A Hub is the premier FP&A community. It's where you can go and learn from your fellow FP&A professionals. With over 1,000 people in the community, you can get answers to the questions you have. Join us for free today at thefpahub.com. Again, that's the FPAHub.com. Join us today. Hello, everyone. Welcome to FP&A Tomorrow, where we delve into the world of financial planning and analysis, examining its current state and future prospects. I am your host, Paul Barnhurst, aka the FP&A Guy, and I'll be guiding you through the evolving landscape of FP&A each week. We are joined by thought leaders, industry experts, and practitioners who share their insights and experiences, helping us navigate today's complexities and tomorrow's uncertainties. This week, we have a special treat for you as we're going to talk about one of the great certificates out there, the Certified Global FP&A program, with two graduates from the program. So I have here with me Alfredo and Jihane. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hi.
Why don't we go ahead and give each of you just a minute to introduce yourself to the audience? We'll start with you, Alfredo. If you could introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are, and just a little bit about yourself.
Yes, thank you. My name is Alfredo Kinanga. Actually, I have a degree in accounting and finance, plus 14 years of work experience, mainly in finance. Now I'm doing also trade marketing and sales. Basically, I'm focused on commercial finance, business planning, business planning and development, sales and marketing. I'm really passionate about growth and profitability.
Great. Sounds like you got a little bit of everything. We don't very often get sales and marketing and planning all together.
Yes.
All right. And now we'll give Jihane, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience?
My name is Jihane Mochamad. I am a chartered professional accountant and PCP from Canada. And then right now, I work as a payroll accountant for a company that manage senior home living. So my specialty is in payroll, financial accounting, and reporting, and also budgeting and forecasting. So I have 10 years of experience. I was a controller, senior accountant back before this role in 2024.
Cool. I always appreciate the payroll people because I've seen payroll get messed up, and nobody likes when their pay gets messed with, as you know.
Yeah.
So they're always one of my friends in the company. And unfortunately, I've been one of those that have messed up payroll sales commissions before. I used to calculate them, and we had a few issues from time to time, but for the most part, it worked well. All right. Alfredo, can I ask you from your view, when you think of FP&A, what do you think makes great FP&A? Like, what is great FP&A in your mind?
Yes, basically for me, as I actually went through this program, FP&A is a combination of many technical financial skills, and actually comes also with soft skills. But for me, it's a bridge between business teams, and is the bridge between the business teams and the top team or leadership, also top management. FP&A actually makes this connection and bridges between the two. So it boils down to business partnering, supporting the business as actually the business go forward in terms of growth and profitability. So that's basically my take and what actually makes FP&A a very interesting function.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Jihane, any thoughts from you on that? When you think of great FP&A, anything else you would add to that?
I think great FP&A person is a person who understands not only the technical skills, but also like the strategic picture, like the goals of the company, the impact of their function to the company as a whole. And then most importantly is understanding people. So a great FP&A person will know how to communicate with like a lot of people with different background and have a like well-rounded picture how to solve problems.
Agreed. I think you made, great points. Both of you brought up. It's not just technical. There's the communication. There's bridging the gap. FP&A is one of those careers that requires a lot of communication skills and a lot of technical skills, right? Some tend to lean more heavily one way or the other. But really, if you want to move up and be successful long-term, you have to have both in FP&A. Obviously, the more you move up, like in any role, communication becomes more important as a leader, but they're both, very important. So what I'd like to start with next is we'd just love to know why both of you took the Certified Global FP&A program. Kind of what was your reasoning for taking the program? Jihane, we'll start with you on that. I'd love to know how you found out about the program and how you decided to take it.
So I was introduced with FP&A back in 2022 when my employer at that time needed to have a bank covenant reporting that require us to like create from the scratch financial modeling for 3 financial statements and also forecasting. And then at that time I started to search like certification that I like to enroll. I also already enrolled CFI. It's like more kind of technical things. And then I saw Asif and Dawal's program. So what I like about it is because the students are from around the world. So it means I will learn different things because I'm in Canada. So, and then also the class is on weekend. So it's easy for me to attend it and it will not interrupt with my daily work. And also like the interactive portions of the course. And then the modules are comprehensive from strategy to technical skills, even AI, which is like, I think it's wonderful.
Yeah. So it sounds like a few things. One, you really enjoyed the fact the weekend, so the flexibility there.
Yes.
The live instruction, people all around the world.
Yes.
And then a comprehensive program. Those were some of the things that attracted you to it.
Yes.
Alfredo, what attracted you to the program? As you were, what were kind of your main reasons for taking it?
Yes. First of all, I normally work on my development plan. Basically, I was almost 3 years without actually a proper formal training or proper formal education at the time, when I was looking at my development plan. So I needed to be certified. And then also because I'm doing basically mainly sales and trade marketing, I needed to reposition myself as a financial professional, having a degree and not having the financial jargons, and actually felt being put away in terms of finance. I had to reposition myself in terms of financial profession. So which is basically one of my core and where I actually gravitate to. And then I saw the Saturday's flexibility that, would not really impact on my daily work as I went through the program from the internet. And then the live sessions actually is what actually took me there. And once I saw that there are certain modules that actually would resonate with me, especially the strategy bit and then the data analytics actually that moved me into this program. So which I really found very, 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 I call it as a nuggets of gold that I actually had a chance to grasp them and to grab them.
Great. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. What I'd love to know from both of you is, before you enrolled in the program. Were there other programs you looked at? I think, John, from what you mentioned, you had previously done some stuff with Corporate Finance Institute, it sounds like, which you found mostly technical and I'm going to assume all on demand. But did you look at any other programs when you enrolled in this one?
I look at Wharton and also Finance Circle from Nicolas Boucher, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what was the kind of, if there was one deciding factor as you looked at each of those, what was kind of the deciding factor for you that led you towards the CGFPA program?
For me, it's like flexibility on weekend. And I like the way Dawal and Ashif present FP&A topic, because FP&A is complex topic, but they make it easy to understand in simple language. And the way they, and when the expert, usually they will explain things in complicated ways, but they explain it in simple language, and I love that.
Yeah, so it seems like flexibility was really a key, and just connecting with the instructors and the way they teach. I appreciate that. What about you, Alfredo? Were there other programs you looked at, other things you considered before you enrolled?
Yes, sir. Yes. That basically was the same as Jihane. Actually, I had same experience. It's surprised now that actually we are following the same path and we found out in the same spot. So basically, I was looking mainly at financial modeling. I think also CFI, if I'm not mistaken, also offered that. But once I actually got, before deciding, I got the programs. I was browsing mostly on the internet, and the key factors basically to pick up CGFPA was basically, as I mentioned, the modules when it comes to data storytelling, the analytics, and because there were also, I was indulging myself in learning more in terms of Power BI. But I think that the key factors there is because the way they presented the model, a great breakdown into the weekends, into the months. They presented very detailed program to me so that, I could really put it in schedule and plan properly. So, and checking these models, like repeating it, Power BI actually, and data storytelling, a strategy actually came as a compound that this is the right thing for me. And then once we're also in the training or in the sessions, actually, the context was actually talking to me. The programs were really live and they were really engaging. So it was not really a bad decision to take this course. It was really a good decision. But these are actually the factors that made me go forward into attending this course or this program.
Thank you. I appreciate you both sharing that. Yeah. So this next question, Alfredo, as you took the program, was there a key takeaway from the program? Something that you took away and maybe started implementing or using in your day-to-day work immediately? Is there something that really stuck out to you?
Yeah, there are many things that I really stuck out. There are many things. It's like I could not really pick one. I cannot really touch point in one because that was so intensive. It was a game changer and transforming. But for this, for some, as a summary, it's like I would resemble so much, I'll resonate so much in business partnering. So I think that FP&A is really is about partnership. Bringing and bridging and supporting the department, also departments, people with the strategic goals comes as a bridge. So what I took really from this program was that is business partnering. Let me just give you a little bit of story here. As a financial professional, we tend to be so critical, especially with the salespeople, with other operations. But the spirit of this course was, or this program was that we are partners. So we have to bridge, between the teams, business teams and, the dealership so that, we can come along in the ultimate strategic goal, which is, company moving forward. So that's the key takeaway. Even in my approach now with finance team, as I'm not really into that finance spot, with my colleagues, I try to bridge so much so that, we can really move forward in terms with profitability and growth. So I became kind of a bridge and I understood this concept well. So business partnering is my key takeaway from this program.
Great. That's a great example. And I know when you talk business partnering, I mentioned communication is sometimes, how we don't understand there can be difficult relationships between finances and the business. I saw Jahan nodding her head. She's like, I've probably dealt with that some over the career. So what's kind of your thoughts around the business partnering and just some of the things Alfredo mentioned there? Because I could tell you were relating to that as he was talking.
Yeah, I used to work in a company where like I'm part of accountant, like accounting department, but like the way their mindset is like different than mine. It's just like everything is no for them. Even the business owner like asking something, there's like, no, 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 and no, and I just thought like, this is not good for the whole company. So for me, being in the program and understanding how FP&A works is just to understand that we're here to be one, to achieve goal together, and to be successful we need to work together. That's what I think.
100% agree. It's really about working together. Interesting enough, and we'll ask you guys this question later, but one of the questions I ask people is what's the number one soft skill FP&A professionals need? And I often hear business partnering, relationship building, but with that, people will often say empathy.
Okay.
And I love that because, you guys both brought it up. Learning to be able to put yourself in the shoes of the business makes it much easier to get to work well with them. It's easy sometimes to be like, well, why didn't the person give me the purchase order? Or why didn't they fill out this form right? Or why didn't they put the information in the CRM on the sell side? Whatever it might be. And when you really start to step out and put yourself in their shoes, it makes it much easier. But, oh, they're doing all this other stuff as well. And maybe it's not as easy as I thought. I'm not their priority.
Yes, and actually, that in this course, there was some concept that I actually is still stuck in my head. It's like as if was talking about co-creation. It's not really about one person, one department. If we go into a budget meeting, also we can talk about co-creation. And I found it very interesting. That changed my perspective in terms of how can I really impact the business. It's like it's not only your comments. So let's comment together. Let's put the narratives together. It's not only about the finance person putting it in a presentation. So what is your take on this one? So you merge and you bridge, and then you present it together. So co-creation is something that came along, and then this concept is really changed my perspective and my attitude towards my team especially.
FP&A Guy here. Today, I'm super excited to talk to you about the FP&A Hub community, the online community that you can go to get answers. Early in my career, I wish I had a place I could have went to where I didn't have to talk to somebody in the company, go to my boss again, or Google, that I knew I could get answers from. That's what you can get at the FP&A Hub. You can make friends, you can learn from others, you can attend events, put discussions and posts out there. You don't have to worry about all the selling and cheat sheets and stuff you get on LinkedIn. This is real conversations by real FP&A professionals. We have over 1,100 people in the community, and it's absolutely free. That's the best thing. So please go ahead and join today, the FPAHub.com. You can join for free at the FPAHub.com. And the FP&A Guy looks forward to seeing you in this free community. Join today. Thank you for sharing that. I really like that idea, what you called co-creation, right? Budgeting is not a finance function. It's a company function, and we should be creating things together. So I really appreciate that. Jihane, I'm curious, are you, with taking the FP&A program, I know you're doing payroll right now. You've done some FP&A, a lot of accounting. Are you wanting to move more into an FP&A role, like kind of full-time, or what's kind of the goal of having taken the program?
Okay, yeah. Right now, I'm in a payroll accountant is like position that bridge finance with payroll. So that's why like it is interesting at this moment, at this stage. My employer is starting to build the system, and then what I've been doing now is to automate the transaction processings. That what is
Sure.
interesting for me. And then after that, I predict that after this the task will evolve. So it's not processing anymore, because like everything mostly can be done by AI in the future. And then
Sure.
and the next, they need the people or employee who can analyze things instead of just doing stuff that can be automated in the future.
Makes sense. So really kind of is help and prepare yourself as there's changes coming.
Yes.
As the systems come in place, AI, a lot of the things you do maybe just be done by a system. So it's like, what do
Yes.
I want to do? How do I want to make sure I'm prepared for the future that's coming?
Yes.
That's great. I think that's wonderful that you were proactive, because so often it's easy to just kind of do the job and then we have to react when technology disrupts what we're doing. Right. And that's going to happen. We've all seen it. The internet, computers, the list goes on and on. Disruption and change is part of life. And so I really appreciate you taking that time. I admire that you were proactive and kind of prepared yourself for that.
Thank you.
So here's the kind of moment of truth question. I hear you do, I think you have about 3 hours on Saturday that you had your instruction, if I remember right. And the program says you spend about 4 hours on average a week. I'm curious, how much time did you really spend? Right? There's always the marketing and there's reality. And I'm kind of just curious to just get an idea of, how close the two are. So we'll start with you, Alfredo. How much time did you find yourself spending on average a week?
Yeah, excluding the 2 hours live sessions on Saturday, yes, my average time spent for reading the pre-reads and studying it, indulging myself on putting myself into readings, it was basically 2 to 3 hours, averaging, not average, but I would spend these 2 to 3 hours, before the classes, but I still was not really enough, to be honest, because the contexts were really engaging. Going back to the videos, recorded sessions actually was something engaging, but you have to balance your work and balance your learnings and your studies. So 2 to 3 hours was the maximum that I would give into the learnings or into the program for myself as well.
So it sounds like overall, counting the Saturday and everything, you're spending about 5 hours a week, and you limited yourself to that. You easily could have spent more.
Yes, yeah, I could really spend more, but the issue was basically balancing, your daily stuff, your daily work, which is really also intense. But this is also for me was very serious. I took it very serious. I took it to the heart, part of my development plan. So I needed to do something, and that also came as a recap, especially to the fact that most of the concepts actually I learned at university, and I applied them quite a long time ago, or a few years back, applying something like budgeting on my daily activities. So it was really something that I put it at the heart, so that I could really not grasp the new knowledge, but as well as recapping what actually is being done in the program. So 3 hours most time, I used to put for myself.
Thanks. Appreciate that. How about yourself, John? What did you find? How much time did you find yourself spending?
I think it's 1 hour a day, because I listen to the recording when I'm commuting.
Got it. So you would listen to all the recordings again when you were commuting, and so
Yes.
you're spending about 5 hours, again, about 5 hours a week.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think they say average 4. So an hour. So far, every program tends to be a little bit more than what they tell you. So
Yes.
that's why I said it the way I did, is I expected you'd probably put in a little more time, which makes sense, because if you're learning a lot of material, it can be time intensive. And if you want to take it serious, it can often take more time than people think.
Yes.
So that doesn't surprise me at all that it was a little longer. So now we'll start with you, Jihane. Was there a favorite module, maybe a framework from the program that you enjoyed most, like a certain session or area that just really resonated with you?
Strategy module is because, like, when I work as an accountant, I'm in only one department, right? So if I can't see a big picture of the company, it's like some kind of motivating for me. It's just, that's the highest achievement, like the achievement that I can go. whatever I am in what stage I am in my career, I can always be like motivated because of that.
Yeah, so really enjoyed the strategy section. I love that. Was there any kind of frameworks or anything particular that they taught you that really kind of resonated around strategy?
Power metric
Why that?
is it helped me to understand how to manage the power and politics in the office.
I
Because of
have to
that,
laugh. There's
yeah,
politics in the office?
yes, because I used to have that issue in my previous work, and then it's really like an eye opening. It's not something technical, but it is really important.
That's huge to managing relationships, and the strategy company, there's going to be power and politics involved in setting it and all the way throughout and all your communication. So I can see where that would be really beneficial to get a matrix and some thoughts on how to manage all that. Because we've all been caught up in it. I know I've mismanaged it in my career more than once. And it's just a nature of things we deal with. What about you, Alfredo? Was there a kind of favorite module for you?
No, actually, let me try to explain this. I believe that the story is, as a commercial finance, I used to do most of these things that actually were in the module, but I did not really know that was FNP&A, as a commercial finance, because that was something else. So when I got into program, everything was connected. Every module was connected. I could not really pick up, one thing. There are many, but one of the things that actually resonated with me so much, it was financial modeling. I've done financial modeling, in a course, I think 2018, but did not go, as such. And I bought some books in like business model canvas. I could not really understand that. I was reading, but I could not understand that. But once actually I merged, or I married, if I may say that word, the business model canvas and the financial modeling, that was it. And I could really now I understand business. I actually went to ChatGPT as I understand the business model canvas now, trying to analyze some companies, in my country. I understand some companies outside, these in the world. I could really sense, and then the key thing that I got from these financial modeling was also the fact that, as a commercial person, there was this side of like client. The client which is one of the the most important element in the business. But out of it, I think one of the most important thing before the client is the client relationship. That's why I could now understand, the CRM, which is client relationship management. I can really now apply in the future. I'm going to apply it in the future just to understand and be part of this financial modeling. So that really resonates with me. That really was massive and was really for me something that changed, in my commercial career. It's going to change in my commercial career. And then I'm keen to apply this, and I apply it almost every time when I'm analyzing business and I'm analyzing even route to market sometimes.
Great. Thank you. So take that away. Obviously the financial modeling section, you really appreciated. It was easy to understand. You liked how all the modules built on each other and were interconnected. So it didn't feel like a disconnect between them.
Yes.
And then also kind of all that, the client relationship side.
Adding to that was in terms of framework, which was the data storytelling framework, which is really was really impactful for me. Which is data storytelling is equal to data narrative and effective visuals. That was something that really, because I like to present, I like presentation, but I would struggle in my narratives. Like you were presenting an impact, and then you're showing it as a negative, but it's a good impact. So how do you narrate your data? How do you narrate your story? As well as the teachers or the lectures, they told us, about effective visuals. Sometimes, the way you present as an accountant is for yourself, but, putting the very effective visuals, like, I like the waterfall graphs. So if you have, a proper, let's say, the right graph, you can really present and make people understand. It's not really about you showing the numbers, but how do you form or how do you present the numbers to the people? So we also learned that, for the operational, you can be too detailed, as well as, to the top, you also have to be a top line. So was really something that in terms of framework that I'm using so much and change my presentation skills, as although that I'm actually still evolving and developing this in my daily activities.
Thank you. And when you mentioned the storytelling, data storytelling, as you mentioned, data, narrative, visuals, there's a great graph. That concept is talked a lot by Brent Dykes. He wrote a book called Effective Data Storytelling. I've interviewed him before, and I've got to know him as a person. And it's so true. Bringing all three of those together can really improve our framework. And I'm glad they taught that, because we have to learn how to, especially that narrative, how do we bring the narrative in with the visuals and with the data to make sure we're influencing the business. We're making recommendations. We're not just doing a bunch of analysis and then nothing happens with it.
Yeah.
We've all seen. I would love to know, you both mentioned one of the things you liked about the course, I think earlier on, was that it taught AI. So I'd love to know just maybe one takeaway from each of you from the AI section, since that seems to be all anyone talks about nowadays, right? Yeah, it's kind of the big buzzword. Jihane, what was one of your takeaways from the AI section, or something that kind of stuck out to you?
That taught me how to utilize AI to analyze financial information. So now I'm constantly using ChatGPT to get the formula, or just to have some kind of idea for make my work better.
Mm-hmm.
And also even office politics. So I asked those questions to ChatGPT too, and then the answer is really good.
I'd never thought about office politics asking it. That's a good one. I'll have to keep that one in mind. I've definitely used it for formulas, analysis, some of those things. But I love your asking it for kind of office politics and how to, manage certain situations. I learned so many different use cases from people. So thank you for sharing that. So that's a
Thank
great
you.
one. Alfredo, how about you?
Yes, I think we exposed in one real life exercise, many of real life examples. And then, as I recall, we were talking about reorder leveling, we were talking about capital budgeting. And then the key takeaway was that actually we can place everything into ChatGPT AI, but no, you have to make sure that you yourself, you understand what you're doing and the expected result. And sometimes, you also get to know the calculations and do your own analysis, to not to challenge, but to make sure that, the results that comes from ChatGPT, especially in that case, that are correct and accurate. So it was really something interesting. I did not know that ChatGPT could do all those things. And then, the formulas that actually they place, it was the same that actually we have been taught in our guidelines and books as well. That was taught, live. And then, we went to see it in ChatGPT, which was really correct, was the same. Yes. But, the key point is that, for me, it was the fact that, okay, does not matter if the results are there, you can work with ChatGPT, but you yourself, you have to understand what you're doing, and the results actually are accurate. So that's the key takeaway.
Great takeaway is one, as I tell everybody, don't just take what it gives you, assume it's right, and use it. Review it. You wouldn't take an intern's work and give it to your boss without reviewing it. You shouldn't do that with AI. And so, but yeah, I can give some great answers. I appreciate both of you sharing that. And I'm glad they covered that, because it's such an exciting area that's so quickly changing all the time. Next question I'd like to ask, and we'll start with you with this one, Alfredo. If someone's considering taking the program, or, they're considering taking a certificate, any advice you would offer them, anything you would say to them as they're looking at, this program and other programs as they're trying to evaluate it? Any advice you could offer? FP&A Guy here. Today, I want to talk about something that can help you in your career. That's FP&A certificates. We all want ways to stand out and to validate to our employers that we're serious about our profession and that we understand that. A great way to do that is to get a certificate or a credential that demonstrates your ability to do the work. There are several great programs out there in FP&A and financial modeling, and I cover those on my website. I've done an episode on FP&A Tomorrow about them, and I'm doing episodes in the future about all the different programs, bringing in customers to talk about them. So if you're interested in showing your employer that you're serious about FP&A and upgrading your skills, look at an FP&A certificate. There's ones from FPAC, Wharton Online, CFI. FMI offers a great one for advanced financial modeling. There's the FP&A Professionals Institute and others. And I cover all those on my website. So go to the FP&A Guy and check them out. Go to certificates and courses, FP&A certificates. And the best part is with each of these programs, I have a discount code where you can receive a special discount for taking that program. So check it out today. Level up your skills by earning a certificate or credential to demonstrate your seriousness around FP&A.
Yes, for me, the advice I would really give, is that this is a game changer for someone that is seriously taking his development plan to the next level. It's a game changer. It was a game changer for me. It is a game changer for me. I still go back into the recording sessions, and then I still feel, that I'm in the room again, and I'm still alive. So it's a game changer. It's a mix of many case studies. There's a lot of case studies, real life examples. One of the things that actually became familiar with me is like it could give me a context. He was talking to me in my context. It can be global, but it was talking to me in my context. And that was practical discussions. It's like we're talking about something like, as I recall, conglomerate when you're doing strategies, business conglomerates and mergers and acquisitions as well. So we could connect with people like Jihane, Rohit as well. We are in the same picture. We could agree on that one. So the mixture of case studies, real life examples, and practical discussions, is one of the things that you're going to find in this course. Also, I've nailed many of concepts that were confusing to me. I've nailed it, like the cash flow forecasting. I just done it in school, but once I came to this, I could really understand and put it, in Excel, understand it practically how it works, as well as working capital. Is one of the things that was my headache. I could not really understand once I got to the books. It's like, how does it work? And then, working capital was something that I really understood. And then the capital budgeting. So the capital budgeting, we done it again, and a lot of questions, and some of my doubts were anticipated. So it also, I sharpened my analytical. I think I'm an analytical person by nature, but it sharpened me with the good use of Excel, Power BI, and storytelling. So it's a game changer.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad it was a game changer for you. Sounds like it was a great experience. Jihane, any advice you'd offer to others as they're looking at this and other programs and they're trying to decide? Any thoughts you could add for them?
Yeah, I think the factors that needs to be considered is the purpose of enrolling a certificate and the stage of their career, and then the content of the modules and the way the instructors explain things, if they relate to you or not, and also the type of case studies that the certification have.
Yep, great. I think those are all important things. Do you relate to the instructor? Why are you doing it? What's the goal in your career? Case studies, all great advice. I'm glad you both really enjoyed your experience. That's what we always hope to hear. We don't want, we'd hate to hear that, oh yeah, it was terrible, don't do it. That nobody would. I mean, I guess if it really was, we'd want to know, but we don't want those programs out there. So I'm glad you both had a great experience. We're going to move into what I call the FP&A section. This is where I ask some standard questions of every guest. So you're both going to get the same question. You can provide completely different answers. And we'll start with you, Jihane. When you think of FP&A, what do you think is the most important or the number one technical skill that we need to master?
Technical skills. Okay. I think technical skills, financial modeling, forecasting, that's the most important thing, and understanding of tools, especially automation tools and analysis tools.
Okay. Yeah, got it. So really it's that modeling, forecasting, and then as we talk about tools. All right. Alfredo, what about you?
Yeah, for me, I think the number one pillar would be data analysis or analysis overall. It's like, you cannot go to budgeting if you do not know how to analyze. Not only in the aspect of finance or financial analysis per se, but in the point that you have to understand first of all the basics of analysis. So not only data analysis, not only financial analysis, but analysis overall. Come up with impacts, come up with variances, and then we can recommend, necessary actions. So if you do not know how to come up with impacts and do variance analysis, and not talking about financial analysis yet, ratio and other stuff, but for me the number one skill would be data or analytics or analysis first of all.
Got it. So we got the financial modeling, forecasting, the tools, the data analysis. Those are both answers we get a lot. So not surprised by either of those. I ask every guest this question, and it's fun to see the variety of answers we get. So number 2, we'll start with you here, Alfredo, on this one. What's the number one soft or human skill that we need to master?
Effective communication. Effective communication. I think that's essential for FP&A professional to master. So it comes, effective communication is also not only speaking effectively, is listening actively, effectively as well. It comes with a bit of empathy. And then, that's basically what I take. Effective communication, especially the empathy part, whereby, I think I've experienced, I've been myself, in finance faction at the core. I was really critical most of the time. I've been very critical and put people into process. I categorize people in processes, procedures. So I could not have so much of empathy. And I see, most of the time my accounting people or in finance people doing the same. So, but when it comes now with this effective communication, I also put empathy, active listening, and speaking also effectively. So that would be my soft and human skill that actually FP&A professional could have.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Alfredo. Jihane, what about you?
I think the most important soft skills for FP&A is stakeholder relationship. So we need to understand how to relate to other people with different backgrounds and to understand their aspirations, the needs that maybe we don't understand, and work together. Same goal.
Like that same goal, stakeholder relationships. So I love that on each one of these, you each gave slightly different answers. And that's what we get from different guests. It's really hard to say what's the most important because there's a lot of important things. It just shows how many different things we have to be good at. But at the core, we can see both have to do with relationships, right? If you can't communicate well, it's really hard to build relationships. If you're not focusing on building relationships, even if you communicate great, you're going to have problems. So, it's really not either or. Both of them are things we need to develop. So now we're going to go ahead and wrap up here in a minute. We're nearing the end of our time. So we have just a one for each of you, a get to know you question, just kind of a fun question that has nothing to do with FP&A. Going to change the subjects here for a minute. So I think we'll start here. We'll go to Jihane on this one. If you could have any job in the world or any person's job for 1 week, whose job you going to take or what job?
I think I love my current job, so I'm okay with my existing, my current job, and then doing this, but with more FP&A work. That's all.
So keep doing what you're doing, but with more FP&A. Nice. I like it. All right. Alfredo, here's your question. As a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
That's a question that took me back, very far. But yeah, I think I recall 2 stages in my life when I actually wanted to be a medical doctor. I wanted to follow my mom's steps, which is a nurse, a medical nurse. And I wanted to be that, but there was a time that, when I wanted to go to the nursing school, I was very, very young. And my mom did not accept that. So I closed that subject. And then when I was actually 14 years old, I wanted to be a lawyer. And I actually started pursuing that career when I was doing my high school with social sciences, but did not materialize because I actually went to study outside my country, which is Angola. And then what happened to me is that with a translating error, actually I end up doing accounting and finance. So I thought it was economy, because I've done in high school some principles of economics. But, what happened to me is like I mistranslated, accounting, as economics. So, and I ended up doing, accounting and finance when I was supposed to do HR, because I decided I'm going to change to HR. I'm going to change to public management. When I wake up to change, I actually having my degree. So, and now I actually like the numbers. I like, analysis. I like planning. So I think I'm grateful with that translating error.
Perfect. It's funny how life works out. When I was a kid, I thought I wanted to be a lawyer because I liked arguing. Then I realized it was a lot more than that. So there you go. I can't say it was a good reason, but there was my reasoning. All right, as we wrap up, just any last thoughts, anything you'd like to share with the audience, any kind of advice or just kind of thoughts in general before we wrap up. So, Alfredo, we'll start with you.
Yes, there's this quote that I got when I was really starting as a professional, which goes that never delegate your development plan, own it and execute it. That's basically my advice. Never delegate your development plan. So, and CGFPA is a good starting point. And that's basically my advice.
I like that. Never delegate your development plan. Great advice. We'll put that up on a poster. Jihane, what about you? Any last thoughts you want to share?
Based on my experience, I now realize that anything can be taken away from me professionally, but not my knowledge in my development. So now I determined to always be thankful for what my stage in my career, what happened in my career, as long as I keep learning something new that will be mine forever.
I love that, right? The knowledge that we've learned can never be taken away. Our job could go away tomorrow. Health problems could happen tomorrow, whatever. There's all kinds of things that happen, but we're going to take our learnings with us, and those will help us. So, it kind of goes along with don't delegate your development, be developing. I think both of you gave great advice there. And it feels like takeaway is regardless of what program you choose, you both got great experience from the CGFPA program, but
Yes.
more than anything, make sure you're developing, you're learning, you're improving your skills, because that's something that will always go with you.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. We'll put your LinkedIn profiles in the show notes in case anyone wants to learn more about you. And I really appreciate you, carving out an hour to chat with me today. So you guys both have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you very
me.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to FP&A Tomorrow. If you enjoyed the show, please leave us a 5-star rating and a review on your podcast platform of choice. This allows us to continue to bring you great guests from around the globe. As a reminder, you can earn CPE credit by going to earmarkcpe.com, downloading the app, taking a short quiz, and getting your CPE certificate. To earn continuing education credits for the FPAC certification, take the quiz on Earmark and contact me, the show host, for further details.